very, very, very special day for all our participants of the Community Initiatives and Inclusion course. And we met like this on an afternoon 3 months back, roughly a little more than 3 months back. And here we are today, so much more enriched, aren't we? So Malini, come in front. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It was fabulous to have you all here. We have exchanged ideas and debated concepts. We have enjoyed all of you. All the best. So Malini has played a very, very impactful role in this course, as have so many others. And we will be mentioning them as we go on today. But today is your day, girls. And a day where it's a culmination of 3 months of learning, of slogging, of reflection, of friendships, and of not some pleasant fights and tiffs, which is got to be there. Right? So happy that we have come together again, and I'm going to invite the person who conceptualized this entire course, who drives the course day after day, year after year, Dr. Meetu Allur, our founder president.
Good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Yes. Hi, Meetu.
A great welcome to all of you. I know you're the stars the participants are the stars today. But let me also welcome our judges. We've got some eminent judges here. Dr. Ragini Sen, who's well known in the country, but is also Director of Research, ADAPT. Please give her a hand. We've got Dr. Sen here. Bhavna Mukherjee, who's also very well known CEO of our work, CSR, etc. Please do give her a hand. And Devangana Bhatt, who is also extremely well known and is leading some of our major researches. Please do welcome her. A great welcome to you, Lady Butterworth. I hope you can see me and wave to you. I'm not sure, but welcome to Rajni, who I can see, and I hope she can hear me. I can see yes. Caroline. I'm not very sure of the others, but all the ambassadors and the members of TWC, a very, very warm welcome to you. I'm sorry for the hiccup of the sounds, etc., but now we are on. Of course, as I mentioned, it is a day for you all, you're the stars, but it's a bit sad for us because it's a kind of the last day, and we've been with you for 3.5 months, and we feel you're a part of our family, but you have to go and do much more important tasks, and I congratulate you. You've all been very, very successful in your work. 3.5 months of a lot of slog and hard work, and most importantly, listening to so many different disciplines, It's a multidisciplinary, interdisciplinary course where you've got doctors, you've got paramedics, you've got social workers, you've got educationists, therapists, most importantly, you've got your parents. And you've been all out there and working so hard with all these different disciplines. So I really have the greatest of respect for you all, because I know I've been with you and all the difficult and different backgrounds you come from and how hard it's going to be over there. From our side, what we have tried to do is to really concentrate on government. So I'm sure that the judges also know this, or the members of the TWC, that basically it's a course that emphasizes policy and policy change and the various tools for change that they go back to. And hopefully we have endeavored to get to you all the various tools that you will need when you go back to your diverse and different backgrounds. But we're going to hear that now. So many congratulations for all the hard slog for these 3.5 months. And let's hear the result of it now. All the very best. I'm very nervous myself. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Dr. Lu. So, okay, it's light, sound, and action, as Babaji would say. So, we're ready to go. So, I'm going to ask our first participant, Archana from Nepal, to come up and present her action plan. And going down further, I think Archana will hand over to the next participant, right? All the best to everyone.
Thank you, ma'am. Good afternoon, everyone. Before I even go ahead with my presentation, please allow me to take a moment to thank Padma Shri Dr. Allur, respected Swami Monananda, our Babaji, Dr. Rizal, Mrs. Rachel, and the whole team of Women's Council UK who are with us online today, CII internal and external faculties, and Adaptim for the beautiful 14 weeks of learning opportunities here. I sincerely thank you all. I also want to give a shout out to our families and friends who have joined us today virtually. I am Archana Shah. I come from Nepal. I've worked in the disability sector for the last 11 years, and now I am working as the president of Akar Foundation, Nepal. Akar Foundation Nepal is a non-profit organization started by a single father of a daughter with autism and intellectual disability. We work to create income-generating activities for young adults with autism and intellectual disabilities in Nepal. Last year alone, we were able to, for the first time in Nepal, organize 3 big art exhibitions for artists with autism. And out of that program, 14 of our artists are now able to generate income. This is just a piece of art by our artist with autism. I come from Nepal, culturally very similar to where we are here in India. Beautiful country, very rich in culture. But I would like to go and talk about disability and inclusion in my country. While we have made significant progress in the last 30 years, as you can see, the blue line shows the regular, overall population's access to education in the last 3 decades, while the red one shows the access to education by persons with disabilities. You can see the growth in both, right? But if you notice the gap between them, it's also parallel. So that means lack of inclusion, where we need to work a lot. A few key data that I would love to share here is 52% of boys with disabilities go to school, while only 34%, around 34% of the girls with disabilities are in school. And out of any child who is out of school, 80% of them are children with disabilities. It's also very interesting to see that persons with physical disabilities have higher access to education compared to persons with autism and intellectual disability in Nepal. Now, to go and talk about barriers for inclusion in various levels, I would like to present this picture. You will be able to see individual level barriers, community level barriers, as well as policy level barriers in this picture. We do have legislations in place, but the lack of implementation causes whatever you see here. Now, going ahead with my 3-month action plan, the highlight of today, I try my best to comply with these three sustainable development goals. On individual level, I want to add a pilot vocational training module to the children and young adults with autism and intellectual disability that I work with back home. The objective is to create a structured learning and participation opportunities, but that will somehow link to livelihood program in future. The target group is 20 to 30 persons with disabilities, especially autism and intellectual disability. And the age, as you can see, starts from 14 because we do have children who have plateaued academically. The module is based on ADAPT's new vocational rehabilitation curriculum. And like I said earlier, I hope this will create the foundation, a very strong foundation, to create a long-term livelihood program for persons with disabilities in Nepal. On community level, I am going to conduct sensitization workshops on inclusive employment with corporates in Nepal. This action plan will also go on to add to my 5-year action plan because it is very, very important that we start having dialogues on inclusive employment, And it's not that there are not enough people who want to hire persons with disabilities. It's just that they do not know how. And I think it's us who will step in and help them to get there. The module is based on ADAPT's City project, training for corporates. On policy level, I'll be working with our district level government to create awareness and to increase access to government's entitlements for persons with disabilities through various disability cards. And the target group is for the next 3 months. I hope to talk one-on-one to families with persons with disabilities who do not already have the card. As the outcome, I hope that at least 5 in the next 3 months, because it's a long procedure, unfortunately. So at least 5 new applications will be submitted to the office, and the government is with us in this. And a good news for all of you is Prakriti, one of CII alumni, is actually working with me on this together because she is now the employee of local government. So, thank you. So the 5-year plan, everything I said for the next 3 months, I do want to take them ahead into my 5-year plan. But the biggest goal for me in the next 5 years is to start our own social enterprise where we will create this inclusive workplace for persons with disabilities that we already work with. As you can see, this is the sari from ADAPT SDC. So this is what I want to have as product back home with my Nepalese young adults with disabilities. Thank you so much. That's all from me today. Thank you so much for your patience. Thank you. I would like to now welcome my very dear friend Sonam Zam from Bhutan for her presentation.
Let me take the opportunity to welcome new friends who are with us this afternoon. Lovely to have you here. We have some students from Aliyavarjung Institute for the Hearing Handicapped. Very, very nice. Welcome to ADAPT. Hope to see you here more often. And I think families of some of our participants are also here. Welcome, a very warm welcome to all of you. Over to you, Sonam.
A very warm greetings to our esteemed judges. With sincere respect, Padma Shri Dr. Mithu Alur, Miss Malini Chip, Awa Babaji, and the distinguished officials from the UK Women's Council, who is graciously joining us through the Zoom, and to our devoted teaching and non-teaching faculty of the ADAPT, Kusuzang Pola. As this beautiful journey comes to an end, it is filled with love, growth, gratitude, and transformation. And for that, credit goes to ADAPT and the UK Women's Council, who has a steadfast belief in empowering international colleagues like us. My name is Sonam Zam, and I'm from Bhutan. Geographically, Bhutan is a small landlocked country situated in Himalayan region. But beyond geographical identity, Bhutan has a unique culture and values. Coming back to my profession, I work as a special needs educator in Changanga Middle Secondary School, and the school has 151 students. And currently, the school supports 188 children with disabilities, and school tailors its program based on the severity of the child. And this is the current status of the disability in my country. As per the research done in National Survey 2023, it was found out that the rate of disability in my country is, the prevalence rate of disability in Bhutan is 6.8%. And that is the program category that we provide to the special needs students in my country. And this is the education system in Bhutan. The education system in Bhutan has evolved significantly, emphasizing on equity, and a quality education under the guidance of gross national happiness. Overall, we have MOEST who looks after all the education matters, and specifically, ECCD and SAN division looks after the inclusive and special education. As per the research done, it was found out that 22.8% of the children with disabilities were enrolled in school, meaning 77.2% of children with disabilities were still out of the school. So based on that issue, Ministry of MOEST and ECCD and SAN division came up with the national capacity building training for the inclusive leaders, for the mainstream teachers, and for the ECCD facilitators to overcome the issue. Overall, our future vision is to expand more inclusive schools and to enhance teacher capacity. So these are the barriers and solutions in our country. At system level, we still have a weak policy enforcement. So for that, we can align policies with the UNCRPD Acts. And at the community and individual level, there is persistent stigma against disabilities and disability inclusion from the employment. So for that, we can promote more inclusive events and also offer skill building workshops for the children with disabilities. And this is my 3 months action plan. The first action plan is targeted to TTL Scouts. So TTL Scout is a special initiative taken by World Scouting Movement. So it was specially designed for the vulnerable and marginalized students who has no access to scouting program. So in my school, all the vocational students were given priority to join in TTL Scouting program. So in order to participate meaningfully in scouting program, I think children should be aware of what is inclusion, what is, how to use the positive use of language and everything, so that they will be able to integrate inclusive practices in scouting activity and also in their daily lives. And my second action plan is targeted on one of the monastic institutions. In Bhutanese society, most of the especially the monastic institutions are the ones who can highly influence the community values and cultures. So most of the sensitization programs were conducted in school, institutions, and universities. However, monastic institutions were, rarely included. So for that, I'm going to conduct a one-day sensitization program in monastic institutions so that they will be able to know about the inclusion, the positive use of language, accessibility, and the universal design. And they will be also able to integrate inclusive practices in monastic institutions as well. So this is my 5-year vision. My first vision is to build partnership with local leaders, with CSOs and different organizations. And my second vision is to launch digital accessible web page for my vocational classes of my school. And my third vision is to continue with my national capacity building training for the inclusive leaders, for the mainstream teachers, and especially for the ECCD facilitators. And my fourth and fifth vision is to integrate, like I've mentioned in my plan, to integrate inclusion in monastic institution as well as in TTL scouting program. So that's the end of my presentation, and I would like to sincerely, thank my mentor Devyani for helping me to complete this project. And once again, thank you so much, ADAPT and UK Women's Council, for your steadfast belief in empowering international educators like us. For me, CII is the real spirit for women's empowerment. Thank you. Now, may I call Mumbai girls to share your action plan?
Welcome to Amchi Mumbai. I'm Minaz Bihari. I'm a teacher by profession. I volunteered at ADAPT for a brief period of time, and then I joined the CII course to deepen my understanding of disability.
Hello, I'm Saili. I work in ADAPT as a volunteer, and after doing CII course, I'm very confident that I want to stick to this sector. Thank you.
Hello everyone, I'm Drashti Trivedi. I have 5 years of experience into banking sector. Last year I had got an opportunity to work and volunteer into a special school, and it inspired me so much that I'm here to learn more about community initiative and contribute myself and learning to grow together.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Prerna Parab. I work at ADAPT Kulaba Center as a nursery teacher. I first volunteered for a few months and then I joined ADAPT as a nursery teacher. Thank you.
Hello everyone, I'm Gladys. I work as a trainer at the Skills Development Center of ADAPT Chembur. On behalf of the Mumbai participants of CII 2026, I take this opportunity to thank Padma Shri Dr. Mithu Allur, the esteemed judges, the members of the Women's Council UK, Mrs. Prabhahari, Mrs. Varsha Huja, Ms. Malini Chip, and the entire family of ADAPT for giving us this opportunity to join the CII course, thereby to widen our knowledge and understanding about inclusion, advocacy, and the rights for disability.
Our beloved Mumbai, a city of dreams, is well known for its cultural diversity, iconic heritage structures, the glamorous Bollywood, and not to forget the local trains that form the backbone of our city. You have not visited Mumbai if you have not eaten our vada pav.
ADAPT, formerly known as the Spastic Society of India, was started by Padma Shri Dr. Mithu Allur in the year 1972, when very little was known about disability in India. ADAPT focuses on education, advocacy, creating disability rights, and holistic development of children with disability. It also sensitizes the society about the importance of accessibility and equal opportunities for all. From a special school which started with just 3 children, ADAPT has grown into an organization, foremost organization in India, providing education and job opportunities for many people with disabilities.
When it comes to education, in India, many children with disabilities still lack access to education with low enrollment and high dropout rate. In India, over 78 lakh children with disabilities are there, yet enrollment is just around 0.89%.
Okay, I think we also have so many barriers of inclusion in the disability sector. Our major barriers in the system level is employment gap, education exclusion, data and identification where there is significant underreporting of disability in data. We have healthcare and legal gaps where lack of accommodation in courts and laws, and also in medical services like inaccessible diagnostic equipments for disability. For policy and system implementation gaps, the laws are there, but it fails due to the lack of implementation. On community level, we have lack of social awareness, and on individual level, we have about negative attitudes and family stigma, which is still a part of India very much. To bridge this gap, we need to build a pathway to inclusion, which is very important for us, and we need to look forward to bridge and complete this gap. On community level, we have RPWD Act 2016, where there is mandate on non-discrimination, equality and employment quota of 4% of reservation in government jobs, and accessibility mandate by universal design. We also have UDID card, which is for digital database for easy access to their welfare benefits, and also a national education policy. For community level, we need more sensitization, community inclusion groups, and training programs. And for individual level, we need more counseling for family support group and for awareness program.
Now I would like to share my 3-month action plan with you. My first action plan on individual level, this will be conducted at Kulaba Center to create an awareness among 20 parents of children with disability, importance of dental hygiene and oral health. So my module is importance of oral and dental health with children and people with disabilities, then strategy to use techniques with children and people with disability, then short video on dental health, then expected outcomes. Hopefully the parents will learn, will get to know practice leading to better and dental and oral health. Then I hope the parents with children and learn practice proper steps and technique to use and parent supervision at home using and visual chart that will be provided. My next action plan on community level, this will be at Dharavi Center to create an awareness among 20 parents of children with disability, encourage regular checkup of dental hygiene and oral health. My modules are importance of dental and oral health and children and people with disability, then short video on dental health, then second interaction, organize a visit to examine the identified and children for any further action if required. Then expected outcomes, I hope the children will learn and practice to better use techniques and under their parents' supervision. Then I hopefully the parents, hopefully the students will required, then themselves encourage their classmates to rinse their mouth after eating anything. Thank you.
Hello. Looking at the barriers, my 3-month action plan is about conducting awareness and sensitization program for diversity and inclusive employment. I'm going to do this with 10 professionals from different corporate settings. As I mentioned earlier about the RPWD Act, where 4% reservation is mandatory, but still, however, people with disability are still facing challenges to get jobs in unemployment. And in private sector, I think the percentage will be as low as 1%, so which makes so much of difference and so much of gap that need to be filled in the employment sector. So my plan is to create more employment opportunity and preparational needs that is required for a person with disability for hiring, training and employment. because the training is required for both the sides, for the employer as well as employee to fit in a setting and also to create a better working space. We need to bridge this gap and need transdisciplinary approach to co-create solutions and societal challenges. I'll be using the resource materials from ADAPT, Ms. Malini Chip's PPT and paper for barriers in social model, and Madhvi Kumar's PPT for inclusive employment. My outcome of the workshop will be, I hope they make more preparational needs for diversity and inclusive employment, thus implementing to revenue generation for persons with disabilities. My second plan on community level is going to be in Dharavi, which I and Saili, we are going to do it together.
So our topic is inclusion and early identification, and we are going to use all the ADAPT resources for this, and we are going to do this in Dharavi. So we are going to discuss what is inclusion, barriers and solutions to the inclusion, pros and cons, and importance of early identification. And we hope that parents will be able to identify early signs and seek timely support. My second action plan, which is individual level, and my topic is emotional regulation and mellow parenting, where I will be conducting a session on emotional regulation and relaxation techniques for 15 parents of children with disabilities. I will start with ice-breaking activities and then followed by a brief discussion on disabilities and challenges faced by parents. And I will introduce emotional regulation techniques, including the color game and simple breathing exercise to help understand and regulating them effectively. And the expected outcome is, through this session, I hope parents will feel more confident, better understand their emotions, and use these techniques to manage their stress levels in daily life.
Speaking about my action plan at the individual level, I would be conducting a training session for 10 trainees at the Skills Development Center of ADAPT on the Jello Basic app. Some of the modules I will be using is what is the Jello app, features of the Jello app, how to use the app, and a role play using the app. Hopefully, the Jello app will augment speech and communication in people with disabilities. At the community level, I will be sensitizing our ancillary staff at SDC about the first aid for epilepsy. Some of the modules I will be using are what is epilepsy, how to recognize the symptoms of epilepsy, first aid for epilepsy, and when to call a doctor. Hopefully, after the program, the ancillary staff will learn how to handle a trainee when he or she gets an epileptic episode. I would be using the ADAPT resources which have been generously given to us. Thank you.
Okay. My individual action plan, the objective is to create awareness among 10 teachers to help them identify the early signs of learning disabilities, mainly dyslexia, dysgraphia, and dyscalculia, in children between 5 to 8 years old. And the expected outcome will hopefully be able to the teachers will be able to identify the early signs, which will lead to early identification and hopefully lead to early intervention. And children can receive timely help for the same and improve their ability to cope with learning strategies. At the community level, my objective is to create awareness among 10 community helpers, and they will be able to identify the early signs of developmental delays in children aged 3 to 5 years. The areas covered will be social, motor and cognitive skills. The resources will be from ADAPT, secondly, the children will receive timely support through early intervention. Thank you. Now I would like to call Shruti from Darjeeling.
Good afternoon, everyone. Before I begin, I would like to thank Padma Shri Dr. Mithu Allur, the Women's Council UK, respected dignitaries who are joining us virtually, and esteemed judges, my fellow CII trainees. Being part of this journey has been both grounding and transformative, and I'm truly grateful to be here today. My name is Shruti Pradhan, and I come from Mirik in Darjeeling. With a background in psychology, I have always been drawn to understanding people, their experiences, their struggles, and what allows them to feel seen and supported. Which brings me to talk about an NGO that I have been associated with for the past 4 years, named PRAN. I'm so sorry. PRAN is a mental health initiative that works through a first responder model. The idea is simple. When communities are equipped to recognize distress early and respond with empathy, support becomes more accessible, and no one has to struggle in silence. That experience reshaped how I understand inclusion. It cannot be driven by institutions alone. Like care, it must begin within communities. I come from a place that is often spoken for its beauty. The hills, the tea gardens, the sense of community. But growing up there also meant seeing things differently for people who do not experience the place the same way. To truly understand inclusion in Darjeeling, we must first understand its context. There is a strong sense of belonging, close-knit communities, and a culture of looking out for one another. There is also deep cultural diversities and identities coexisting within the same space, often with shared understanding of mutual support. But the same closeness can sometimes limit dialogue, which is why inclusion often stays well-intentioned but incomplete. As a result, the barriers exist at many levels. At an individual level, there is limited awareness and confidence. At a community level, there is exclusion and misunderstanding. And at a system level, there is inaccessible infrastructure and limited implementation. Which is why solutions must also be layered, building awareness, shifting mindsets, and creating practical local adaptations. Which is exactly where my action plan begins, with simple yet effective strategies. The first intervention focuses on school students of Glenmore International and Bokar Monastery in Mirik. I want to begin with the students of Standard 10 because attitudes are often formed long before they are questioned. Through interactive sessions and experiential simulation, students will not only learn about disability, but also experience, even briefly, what exclusion can feel like. The purpose is not the activity itself, but it is the conversation that follows. The moment when they begin to realize that disability is often created not by the person, but by the environment around them. The second part of my action plan focuses on ICDS workers, because this is where early intervention becomes essential. The session will focus on recognizing developmental delays, understanding early interventions, and learning how to engage more inclusively with children and families. This will also include parents and ASHA workers so that support becomes part of the community and not something that exists only in distant systems. For both of these interventions, I will be using ADAPT CII's resources, and they will be evaluated through pre- and post-questionnaires and followed up after a month, not only to measure change, but to assess its sustainability. But ultimately, the goal is not simply to create awareness for a day. It is to create a shift in the way people think, respond, and make space for one another. Over the next 5 years, my vision is to move from awareness to sustained community-led changes. I want to ensure that persons with disabilities are not only aware of their rights, but are also able to access schemes, services, and opportunities available to them. I also aim to build sustained parent support networks that grow from schools into the community. I hope to reduce stigma through continuous sensitization so inclusion becomes part of everyday life. And alongside this, I aim to collaborate with organizations like Himalayan Trust of National History Art in Kalimpong to create skill-based livelihood opportunities. Because inclusion is not something we add later. It begins in the choices we make, in the way we see people, in the spaces we create, and in whether we allow everyone to belong. And sometimes the change begins quietly, with a conversation in a classroom or a community that chooses to think differently. Thank you. I would now like to invite Nurul from Indonesia.
Respected Padma Shri Dr. Mitu Alur, Dr. Rajni Rijal, members of the Women's Council UK, the ADAPT team, our dedicated CII teachers, Mrs. Farsha Huja and Mrs. Prabhahari, as well as Babaji, our honorable judges and audience today. Good afternoon. My name is Nurul. I come from Indonesia. Currently, I serve as an educator at the Singapore Brain Development Center, Jakarta. Singapore Brain Development Center is an institution that is dedicated to providing support for children with developmental challenges. Now, as you might already know, we are all here to discuss about our action plan. To understand my action plan, we need to look at the current condition or barriers that still exist in Indonesia today. Ladies and gentlemen, Indonesia is actually moving forward. From 2015 until 2020, we have built over 28,000 inclusive schools. So, access to inclusive education is actually expanding. However, access doesn't always equals inclusion or completion. Another study shows that while 95% children without disability complete primary school, only 54 children with disability do. I also found two very interesting studies here that shows some people, even teachers, still think that disability, especially neurodivergent condition, as the result of karma, curse, or broken a taboo. Ladies and gentlemen, all these findings tell something very important. That is, infrastructure is growing, policies exist, as you can see in my booklet, on my booklet. However, transformation of mindset might still take time. And that is when even the simplest contribution matter. For me, I would love to contribute in a modest but meaningful way. That is why we're gonna discuss my action plan. For my first action plan, I plan to conduct a participatory learning session with 15 teachers from Al-Ahdor Islamic School. I personally really like the concept of participatory learning session because it encourages dialogue, discussion, shared learning instead of just me lecturing the teachers, because I also want to acknowledge the expertise that they already possess. Through this session, we're gonna explore social and medical model of disability, disability etiquette, appropriate and respectful language when we talk with people with disability or about disability. For my second action plan, I plan to conduct a sharing session with 20 educators and parents from SBDC and Basam School. Together, we're gonna discuss and raise questions about the language that our community currently use based on their experience. Is the language we use still already respectful or still stigmatizing? I forgot to mention for my first action plan, I would like to discuss about supportive decision making. This topic is very dear to my heart because we often witness teachers or parents or maybe we as friends making decision for people with disability just because we think that they need protection instead of supporting them to make their own decision. Thank you. For the resources, I'm going to be using the material that ADAPT has graciously shared to us. I cannot mention all of them one by one due to the limited of time, but some of them are CAP 1, Unit 3, beautifully written by Dr. Mitu Alur and Michael Bach, and also Michael Bach PPTs. Next. All these activities, I believe, also align in with United Nations Sustainable Development Goal, number 4, number 10, and number 17. Number 4, because we support teacher professional development. Number 10, because we encourage a broader social inclusion. And number 17, because collaboration between SBDC, Blossom School, and other schools can foster exchange of knowledge and can eventually help us to contribute to a better inclusive society. This is my 5 years action plan. So I have so many plans the next 5 years, but eventually my biggest dream is to open an inclusive preschool in my hometown. I currently work in a metropolitan city, Jakarta. It is a very big city with so much facility that I can enjoy. But I personally come from a very small city in the eastern side of Indonesia where inclusive education is improving but might still need more contribution compared to Jakarta. Thank you very much for your time. Now I would love to call my friend from Kenya, Noela Oyare.
Padmashri Dr. Mitu Alur, our dear Swami Munananda Babaji, Dr. Rachel, Dr. Rajni and Miss Rachel, and the Women's Council UK at large, Miss Malini Chib, our esteemed panel, and my fellow CII participants, good afternoon. I would like to first express my sincere gratitude for having this opportunity to participate in the CII course 2026. And for the past 13 weeks, it has been truly an eye-opening and educational experience, nothing short of insightful. My name is Noela Beldina Oyare, and I am from Kenya. I have been the principal of Little Rock IECD Center for the past 4 years. Little Rock is an inclusive CBO found in Kibra, Nairobi, and it was started in 2003. We aim to provide quality education in a nurturing and inclusive environment for vulnerable children and children with disabilities found in the urban slum. We currently serve 520 children, including 110 children with disabilities. We provide early childhood education, childcare for children aged 0 to 3, an in-house therapy program for our special needs children, a school feeding program, co-curricular activities such as football, and also a rescue home for abandoned children and children who have been orphaned. Kenya recently adopted a new curriculum called Competency-Based Curriculum, CBC, which focuses on skills, talents, and innovations. CBC caters to children with disabilities through an inclusive educational framework that prioritizes tailored learning, specialized assessment, and individualized educational programs. It is divided into stage-based and age-based learning. CBC moves away from purely special schools and encourages the integration of children with disabilities into the mainstream school. The enrollment of children with disability has gone up, but is still very low. So, what are the barriers that are still holding us back as a country? Stigma, although reduced, is still a challenge as many still have a negative attitude towards inclusive learning, and also parents with children with disabilities are still hiding their children back home in rural areas. Inaccessible infrastructure in transport, public spaces, schools, and homes is still a challenge. And as much as the new curriculum caters to children with special needs, the mainstream schools are still not yet equipped to accommodate these children. Lastly, access to quality but affordable healthcare and assistive devices that are easily available is still a big challenge. So, what are the possible solutions? We have amazing legislations written down, but the enforcing of these legislations need to happen, especially the admission of children with disabilities in mainstream schools and having trained teachers in these schools. Capacity building and awareness programs for teachers, healthcare workers, and parents, and modifications in the infrastructure of the public mainstream schools will push us ahead. Now to my 3-month action plan. My project aims to build the knowledge of the people in the micro and meso level who are already working hard to spread inclusion. On the individual level, as the principal of Little Rock, I will be conducting a training for the teaching staff over the course of 2.5 months, and hopefully by the end of that, the teachers will successfully participate in and demonstrate improved understanding of inclusive teaching strategies, and I will be using ADAPT PPTs which have been graciously provided for us. To the community level, I hope to conduct a 1-day workshop for our expectant parents and new mothers on prenatal, antenatal, and postnatal care, importance of vaccination, and mental health care for the mothers. And hopefully the 15 to 25 parents who will have attended will show increased awareness of maternal and infant health care. I would also like to conduct a research project on siblings of children with disabilities, because coming here made me realize they are a forgotten group. So doing this research project will help me understand their experiences, their perceptions, and challenges. Hopefully, my findings will inform future family support and inclusion strategies. Moving on to my 5-year vision, I want to pursue my master's in special needs education and inclusion, and also conduct and participate in research programs, because as I was doing my research project for my project, I realized that a lot of the information was a bit outdated. And lastly, I would love to work with the county government to conduct sensitization and awareness programs for the public mainstreams on the importance and benefits of inclusion. Thank you. I would now like to invite my friends from Mongolia, Nara and Sumia.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Narante. I'm from Mongolia. First of all, I would like to express my sincere and deeply thankful to Dr. Mito Alur, Women's Council of UK, Mrs. Washa Hoja, Mrs. Sujata Verma, Mr. Babaji, Mrs. Prabha Hari, and Ms. Malini Chip for giving me an invaluable opportunity to participate in the CII 2026 training program. I also would like to thank all participants from different countries in the Asia-Pacific region, learning together, sharing experiences, and building friendships made this journey truly meaningful and memorable time. This is my organization. I'm a social worker at Sub-District Ulaanbaatar. As a social worker helps individuals, families, and communities improve their well-being and the quality of life. Our main goal is to promote social justice, protect human rights, and ensure that everyone has equal opportunities. Our sub-district has a population of 10,000, including about 200 people with disabilities and children. Firstly, I will introduce to my work college about ADAPT, and I have learned and experienced it here. This is my action plan. And our sub-district has 3 kindergartens. I choose one kindergarten number 160. My action plan has 2 modules. First one is made on individual level for director and teachers of kindergarten. Second one is on community level and for teacher and parents. Before workshop, I will translate of ADAPT's CII courses, resource materials in Mongolian language. First objective of my action plan is introduce inclusive education concept and the rights of children with disabilities at kindergarten with one director and 10 teachers. Second objective is strengthen practical skills of teachers and parents to implement inclusive strategies for children with disabilities in kindergarten. Activities are including understanding disabilities, introduction to inclusive education, key principles of inclusion, social and medical model of disability, and adapt films. I will use all adapt CII courses resource for my models. Expected outcome of these models, hopefully awareness on exclusive education concept and rights of children with disabilities will increase. Improve the director and teachers, parents' knowledge and skills. Individual support plans will start clear next action steps. Next. This is my 5-year vision for inclusion. My vision to build an inclusive, supportive and accessible society where disability is respect and active participation is norm. In this course, I have gained not only knowledge and skills, but also confidence and new experiences. Thank you so much.
Good afternoon, everyone. I would like to thank Padmashri Dr. Mitu Alor, the Women's Council UK and other team for this wonderful opportunity. My name is Soumya Suren. I'm from Mongolia. I'm nurse and endoscopy department at Skopatra District Health Center. Our center has 20 staff, including 76 nurses. The Skopatra District Health Center is government service organization dedicated to providing quality and accessible public health services and specialized outpatient medical care to the residents of the district. In shared commitment to inclusive health, the Skopatra District Health Center works closely with Special School 29. We deliver integrated medical care and empowerment programs, ensuring that every student receives professional support they need within supportive, accessible environment. That's why Skopatra District Health Center was awarded for excellence in disability inclusive health care. Now I would like to share my action plan on the community level. I will spread awareness on disability and inclusion among 30 nurses at the Skopatra District Health Center in Ulaanbaatar and share learned from the adult CII course. Expected outcomes, I hope medical staff will understand the social model of disability. Hopefully the participants will understand the importance of early international intervention, the malnutrition related to disability, and they meet work with partnership within the health center. My 5 years vision inclusion provide positive attitudes and change participation about people with disabilities. Improve staff understanding, the respectful communication with people with disabilities, great and accessible and friendly environment people with disabilities, encourage participation and inclusion of people with disabilities in health services. 10 staff members from the endoscopy department will participate in sign language training to improve communication with people hearing impairments. Thank you very much. I would like to invite my friend Jayane from Sri Lanka.
I think we can have a short 10-minute tea break just for us to stretch our limbs a bit and get ready to take on, listen to some more exciting plans. So a really short tea break. Our partners on Zoom, our visitors, our friends on Zoom, I hope that's okay with you. Exactly 10 minutes more, not a minute more. With us from UK and the other guests, Lady Butterworth, Carolyn, if you're here, but maybe at the end after we finish the other 3 participants also, so that your feedback can cover all the participants. So I think another minute and we should be good to go. We still have Jaini from Sri Lanka, we have Momo from Thailand, and Nigina from Tajik unfortunately is not able to present today. So although her work is ready and her project has been submitted, she was not able to join us on Zoom to present. And she will be having meetings individually with one of the judges to present her plan. So I think we have only 2 more participants, Momo and, sorry? Oh, there's Tenzin. I'm so sorry, there's Tenzin also. So we do have 3 more participants, another minute and we'll be good to go. So we have Purnima Jaini from Sri Lanka.
Good afternoon, everyone. Respected Padma Shri Dr. Mithu Alur and the members of the Women's Council UK, judge and everyone present. My name is Purnima Jaini. I am from Sri Lanka. I currently service as the president of the Sri Lanka Disabled Youth Women Association, AKASA. As a person with a disability, I am deeply committed to promoting inclusion and supporting others in our community. At the present, I am working as an intern at the Ethnic Assurance Center for Children with Disability. I would like to show you short video on education.
Special education, it's also great to have other professionals included, such as speech therapists, occupational therapists. If the school can make these hires, it's fantastic for the kids. In our country, if you have the money to access service, there are services that you can access. You have good services. A lot of people, especially outside Colombo, in the rural areas, don't have services in their areas that they can access for their children.
Actually, what happens when we deny education to a child with special needs is that particular child and the family are pushed further into poverty because their care needs are increasing, their occupational opportunities are limited, and so they are pushed further into poverty. You don't find families actually advocating for better services. because they don't feel that they deserve that. Sometimes, because of particular strong religious views, people think that people with disabilities have kind of deserve it in a sort of way because they have done some bad deeds in their previous lives, and this includes the parents as well, which is very sad.
Provide opportunities for people with disabilities to prove that they are human beings, that they have the same needs, and they can contribute like other like other citizens, that they can go to school and benefit, they can work and contribute to the development of the country. Then I think those attitudes will be influenced.
Values the rights of persons with disabilities, but due to ongoing financial, social and political challenges, many of these initiatives remain unimplemented or overlooked. Possible solution to the barriers are to create awareness, policy monitoring by people with disabilities, increase budget for disability service and accessible infrastructure projects. Now I would like to share my 3-month action plan. At the individual level, my objective is I will sensitize 50 students of University of California on disability etiquette, social model of disability inclusion. I will share my CII experience and the learning. For this, my modules will be based on Ms. Marini's PPT on social and medical model of disability and disability etiquettes. Dr. Alur's PPT on current orthodoxy. I will also screen adapt short film Molly and Mil Julke. Hopefully the students and faculty will be aware and will understand about disability etiquettes and social model of disability. At the community level, my objective is I will create awareness on early intervention and to empower for parents of children with disabilities at the IT center. For this, my modules will be based on ADAPT resource cap 2 chapter 6. Hopefully the parents will understand the importance of parent support groups. My 5 years plan, I would like to advocate people with disabilities and their family members. I also would like to teach badminton to children with disabilities and promote para sport. Thank you. Now I would like to invite my friend Momo.
Good afternoon, everyone present here and beyond this room. Thank you very much for giving your time to come and witness our achievement. I am Dr. Nang Lalaimo. I come from Thailand. I work with an organization called Save Child Thailand. We have our headquarters office in UK, mainly focused on fundraising, and we invest our funding in Thailand. Mainly, we work with the family, children with disability and without disability. We have a project called Home Care. Home Care is all about we work together with parents, with siblings, with grandmother, and with community members. So every morning, our staff member will go out, house to house. We learn and we explore new ways to work with the family and also a better way to support the children learning. Next. So this is the context of the Thailand. So when it comes to disability, if we look across the globe, Thailand is relatively growing. However, to the states where I come from, disability status is very low because we have a high rate of migration. Because of migration, people are moving from place to place, which cause a person with disability not having proper document. By not having proper document, it causes them limited access to education, healthcare, and public health. So this is my 3-month action plan. I have one action plan, which is I choose to work with a family, also sibling. I believe that siblings play very important role at home. So I will go to the community, sit in a small group with parents, also with a sibling. I would love to understand how, in their view, how it look like, what does it mean rights? How do they access to rights? Also, how do they eventually exercise their rights? So these are something I will cover. Also, I will be talking with the parents, also siblings, about supportive decision making. How will they implement at home? What are their understanding of supportive decision making in their home at this point of time? So I hope after my training, parents, also siblings, will learn a new way that actually supportive decision making is possible for a person with disability at home. My next action plan is in the individual level. I will choose to work with a person with disability themselves. In order to do this, I will first work with their teacher who are actually teaching them day to day. So I would like to develop disability etiquette. I would like to, this is very exciting for me because culturally appropriate, so disability etiquette from them will be so different what we learn from here. That will be so amazing for us to learn, and also I hope after my training they will have, these young people, they will have their own way, their unique way, culturally appropriate disability etiquette for them. So this is my 5 years plan. In the next 5 years, I will choose to work with parents because parents are always with the children. Also, I will choose to work with a person with disability because I believe that without person with disability, we cannot create a long-term thing for a person with disability. And also, I will work with a community stakeholder for district government and also community CEO, CBO, and the NGO, and also in the community level as a family and all. I hope by doing this, my community will have more inclusion. Before I end my today presentation, this is the quote I would like to leave to myself, also maybe to many of us. The only disability is a bad attitude. Thank you. Now I would like to invite my friend from Tibet.
Good afternoon and Tashi Dileg, everyone. My name is Tenzin Chezom. I am a third-generation Tibetan refugee born and raised in Nepal. As for now, I've taken a break from my work, but for the last 3 years, I've been working for a local Tibetan NGO that works for the welfare of the Tibetan refugee communities across Nepal. So that's a bit about my introduction, and now moving on to my presentation. So unlike my other CII fellow participants, my action plan is a bit research-based. And this is the overview of my presentation. So first, I'll be setting the context, and then I'll be talking about the rationale of my research objective, and my target group. And then finally, I'll be talking about my expected outcome and my 5-year plan. Next slide, please. So to set the context first, right? My country, Tibet, was an independent country with its own language and culture, but it got colonized by the Chinese government in 1959. So since then, we have been living as Tibetan refugees across the world. So we have Central Tibetan Administration, which is the Tibetan government in exile and is based in Dharamshala, Himachal Pradesh. And this government looks after the welfare of all Tibetan refugees living in exile. So as for my 3 months action plan, I'll be specifically working with the Tibetan refugee communities in Nepal. And as of today, in Nepal, we have 12 Tibetan refugee settlements, out of which 5 of them are located in the remote parts of Nepal. Next slide, please. So one might question, right, why Tibetan refugee communities in Nepal? Why not India? Because we do have Tibetan refugee communities in India as well. So what's my rationale, right? So first off, because of the lack of proper documentation of the Tibetan refugee communities in Nepal, and the fact that they are not the citizen of the country, a lot of times what happens is the Tibetan refugees with disabilities in Nepal are not able to access any sort of disability services that's been provided by the Nepalese government. Second off, what happens is that the Department of Health, which is under the Central Tibetan Administration, they do provide disability support program like disability stipend, aids and appliances, but that's not enough at all. The disability stipend they provide is Indian rupees 3,000 per month. And the CTA has also set up a special education school, which is basically which is sort of built in order to cater to the needs of the Tibetan refugee with disabilities living in exile. When I say exile, especially Bhutan, Nepal, and India. But that special education school is set up in India. So when it comes to Tibetan refugee with disabilities in Nepal, the fact that they have to travel all the way from Nepal to India in order to access those services, right? So that's where the logistical, infrastructural, and the financial sort of barrier comes into the picture. And now one might say, right, there are private sectors that provide disability-related services in Nepal. But one must also remember that we need money in order to access those services, and not everyone has the money to give, right? So that's where my sort of objective comes into the picture. On a community level, what I would like to do is to understand the current disability scene within the Tibetan refugee communities in Nepal, and to sort of understand what are the gaps and how do we address those gaps. I'll also be, so one might question, how are you going to do it, right? So I'll be basically doing an ethnographic participation where I'll be doing participant observation and conducting informal interviews with the settlement officers living in the Tibetan refugee settlements in Pokhara. So on a systemic level, what I'll do is whatever sort of qualitative research findings I have, I'll be sharing it with the Tibet Fund, which is one of the largest primary grant recipient for the funds for CTA. Now one might question, why Tibet Fund, right? Because given the context of Nepal, given that there's so much pressure from the Chinese government and a lot of Tibetans stay in Nepal, the Central Tibetan administration is not able to sort of administer any sort of project in Nepal directly. So what they do is they sort of administer or sort of implement project through the local implementing partners. And in order to do that, we need an organization that needs to be able to receive funds, right? That's where Tibet Fund sort of comes into the picture, and that's one of the reasons why I really want to work with Tibet Fund. And my target group, out of the 12 settlements, my target group would be 4 Tibetan settlements based in Pokhara, Nepal, where I'm also from, right? So I'm from Pokhara as well. So it's easier for me to sort of start from there. So the expected outcome, right? So on a community level, what I'll do is I'll first get an updated, I'll try to get an updated data on the Tibetan refugee with disabilities in Pokhara, Nepal, and sort of get a better understanding on the current disability scene within the Tibetan refugee settlements in Pokhara. On a systemic level, I really hope to contribute in how Tibet Fund as an organization would approach project proposals for any disability-related services in Nepal. Next slide, please. So as for my 5-year plan, right? As I said, because for now I'll be working with the 4 refugee settlements, I hope to extend my research in the remaining 8 settlements in Nepal. And I also hope to complete my master's degree in development studies. And I hope to bring more awareness on disability and inclusion within my community in whatever ways that I can. And hopefully even I might get married in the next 5 years. That's just a hope, but hopefully manifesting it. That's it for my presentation. Now, given that I'm the last speaker for the day, I would like to speak a few words on behalf of all my CII participants. Firstly, I would like to thank each and every one of you joining us virtually and everyone present here for taking out the time to be here with us and really making this day a momentous day for all of us. Thank you for listening to us patiently and for always rooting the best for us. We really hope to make each and every one of you proud as in when we go back to our home country and implement our action plan. Last but not the least, we would like to thank Dr. Mithu Allur for creating this space where the differences of the individuals are sort of met with respect, understanding, and compassion. And we would also like to thank Dr. Rashni, Mrs. Rachel, and entire staff of Women's Council UK for being the driving force behind this cause. Thank you so much.
What an academically exuberant afternoon this has been. So it's been just simply wonderful listening to you girls. And I know Babaji is feeling really proud because he's worked so hard with your presentations. He's not quite been in the pink of health, but thank you, Babaji, for doing this year after year. Thank you, Dr. Allur, for always being there. She sat with each and every one of your plans repeatedly, and we see the impact, we see the results in front of us. So I'm going to ask our judges whether they'd like to share their comments with us before inviting Dr. Allur for the closing remarks. Can we start with Dr. Rajni Rija? And I must thank everyone on Zoom for so patiently being with us. It just adds to the motivation, doesn't it?
Good
Rajni?
afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone at Adapt. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, we can.
And to everyone online as well. A very good afternoon, warm good afternoon from everyone on behalf of everyone at the Women's Council. I'm going to keep to the point because I think there's so much to say. First and foremost, I have absolutely been blown away by everybody's projects this morning. It truly has been a pleasure to have met you all in person and to hear some of your action plans when Rachel and I were out. I had the pleasure of meeting you all in Mumbai. And to see that progress that you have even made from then to now has been phenomenal. So just in general terms, as we are talking about projects and action plans today, we will talk about other things tomorrow. First and foremost, what I was really blown away by is the variety of your action plans. You all come from numerous backgrounds, including psychology, working in banking, working as school teachers, as NGOs, and even as an endoscopic nurse. So you are going to be covering various fields of disability and tapping in to increase awareness amongst numerous fields. So that is something that was striking amongst all the projects that I heard today. As I said, you've got vocational, you're increasing arts, you're going to involve spiritual leaders, and as we are very much aware, many people do follow the advice of spiritual leaders. So going to monasteries and sharing that advice is going to be very useful. You are also going to look at aspects which is very important from a point of view of supporting people with disabilities to make their own decisions. And this is something that I am going to share with you all at a later stage. And it's something that we adopt in the UK. And it was very good and very promising to see that many of you are incorporating this. And here we call this the Mental Capacity Act. And from that, we presume that every adult has the capacity unless proven otherwise. We need to support individuals to make their decisions, and we have to allow unwise decisions, even though it doesn't mean that they lack capacity. So this is something we will look at in detail, but I just wanted to share the UK's Mental Capacity Act with you. I like the fact that many of you are increasing awareness at individual levels, including parents and siblings. You are going to go into the banking sector to try and make it easier for people with disabilities to become employed and use their skills. So as you can see, I am taking each project that I've looked at individually without naming names, but I know you all know who you are. I'm also impressed that you are looking at the mental health and well-being angle. This, as we know in today's society, is very much affecting so many of us. And it's the people with disabilities that mental health can affect the most. So I'm so glad that this is also not being overlooked in some of the action plans. I like the fact that you are a school teacher, for example, principals. We have some principals of school teachers that are going to share the word and also widen inclusion into Africa. And that is also a very important factor to consider, because disabilities has no boundaries. It goes over all continents. I also like the fact that we are going to use sports. We have our Paralympian badminton player, and I do apologize I wasn't able to have a match with you before I left, but the fact that we're going to be including sports and broadening that horizon is also a very important aspect. And using siblings and going out to outreach programs is also an important factor, which I heard Mo present as well. And underpinning all of this from your action plans, I like the fact that this is all going to be research-based, as Tenzin pointed out. Research-based policies drive change. And this is what I saw in a lot of your studies, where you are going to be using the valuable tools and skills provided by the wonderful team at ADAPT. So all in all, I'm impressed with your variety, with the extent that you're spreading out to different areas of society to increase awareness, and also with siblings to support people with disabilities to make decisions. And also, piece of advice that I would also like to give, I do like the way how you've used infographics in your presentations this morning. And this is something that Rachel and I spoke to you about in great length. A lot of videos, a lot of infographics, posters speak more than words. And this is where you can really tap in to numerous different audiences, particularly those that have a disability. For example, if you are blind or if you are hard of hearing, infographics in different forms can help. So my advice would be, please utilize your infographic skills, which you're all very talented at, in the most useful way. I will also like to say that your action plans will be realistic. It's very nice, you've got lots of wonderful ideas, and when you get back to your countries where you have really actually shared some time, spent some time, and sacrificed time from families and work, you'll be going back to your own work and to your own families, and responsibilities will widen. So be realistic with your plans. And one thing I have always noticed, and this is something that I said to you when I was doing the oral health modules with you, small changes have a rippling effect. So even if your action plan is quite diverse and full of many components, you will be surprised that everything that you present to all the different people will continue to resonate and have a widening effect and a rippling effect, and they will remember. So if one or two messages from your action plan are done with good quality, with infographics, you will have a profound impact on everyone. So that was just a general summary that I've given for all the wonderful presentations. I would like to say I am extremely proud of every single one of you. And having met you all, it's really nice to see how you've progressed and how dedicated you are to help make an improvement to the lives of so many. And I do have a message also from Madame Pom, Madame Priyatab from Thailand. It's a new year in Thailand, so she was unable to join. So she wishes everybody a very happy new year and all success with their action plans. And also it was nice to be joined by Sari Percaya from Indonesia, our ambassador's wife, and also Mugi, who's the first secretary from Mongolia. And I have to say, everyone was most impressed with what you want to do when you go back to your own communities. We are here to support you. If you do need any other support resources, if any of you are doing oral health modules or disability audits or even the Mental Capacity Act, we are all here to help, support and provide further resources. But once again, congratulations on phenomenal presentations. You all deserve a huge round of applause and we are all very proud of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Rajni. We are constantly amazed at the thoroughness with which you listen to everyone who speaks with you and how you made it a point to connect with everyone without taking names. Thank you so much for being you. And thank you to all our friends who joined this afternoon. It just made it so much more special. I'm going to ask our judges who are with us here, Dr. Ragini Sen, Mrs. Bhavna Mukherjee and Mrs. Devangna Bhatt, if they'd like to share a few words and their thoughts. Would you like to come up so we can all see you? Yeah, please.
Hello. First of all, many congratulations. You were phenomenal. And I have very little to say because Dr. Rajni Rijal has given you a fantastic feedback and there's really not much to add. But I'll give you my 2 penny thoughts. One is that your presentations, as she has mentioned, were professional. And you reflected yourself as already mini leaders. So many congratulations. Secondly, your objectives were very well articulated and very focused. And that again is a very important thing. As a researcher, I can tell you, that if your objectives are clear, your way ahead is absolutely lined because you know exactly why you're doing. Otherwise, you flumber and flounder and you don't land up achieving what you are doing. So, my advice to you as a researcher is spend time on spelling out your objectives, make them realistic, be very clear on what you want to achieve. Because if you have that blueprint in mind, everything follows. Then I come to your future plans, 5-year plans. Very realistic. Often what happens when we are young, we get carried away and we want to change the world. You know, we want to think big. We think we can change the world. But believe me, the world doesn't change so fast. And we need to be therefore realistic. And the small baby steps help. It is, like a drop in the ocean, one by one, little by little, we change the world. Of course, we can change it radically also at times, but that is rare. Finally, I would like to, one more thing on, as a person from ADAPT, which I would like to say, is that if you have noticed, there is a standardized format for presentations. Now, many may question that why a standardized format? Why don't we get our freedom to be creative and insightful? My answer to that is that at ADAPT, when you are doing the CII course, it's a diving board for you all to get prepared to take on larger objectives, right? So if you know your standard format, then once you go back, you have the freedom to discard it and move forward in whatever way. But when you're discarding, you should know exactly why you're discarding. So you must be very clear about a standardized format, right? Then it is for you all, because if this is a diving board that you are being provided at ADAPT. And having said that, the diving board is provided so that you can all go back to your countries and become a Mithu Allur, a Mithu in all the countries. Remember, she just started with 3. You have a lot less barrier. So I wish you all the very best and thank you for a very, very stimulating afternoon.
Bhavna? Okay, we have Devangna Bhatt.
Hi, and I repeat what all the judges are going to tell you. Fabulous presentations, fabulous. I was a judge last year too, I think first time I was a judge. So this year I can say that what really stood out to me was the specificity of your plans, which is excellent. You know exactly what you want to achieve, and therefore it will make it easier for you to actually do them. Your presentation styles is again something I do want to talk about, because while Ragini did talk about a standardized format, what struck me in quite a few presentations was that it was like a story, right? So you talked about the situation, then you talked about the barriers, and then from there you led almost naturally into your plans. And that keeps the attention. So even later on when you're doing presentations, keep in mind, keep it like a story. It should flow. It shouldn't be like a break, right? Again, very little to add. Excellent presentations. I wish you all the best. One little piece of advice, or I don't know, recommendation or whatever. Right now, you all are all very, very charged up because obviously I love the interaction within the group. So please do try and stay in touch with each other as well as with anybody else who has done CII from your own regions. Help each other out, stay in touch so that you know what they are doing, you can get inspired, you can inspire others. And like Dr. Rajani did say, every little drop is going to create a ripple effect. So you know what ripple is being created next door, next country, next region. So that will really help. Thank you.
Thank you, Devangna. Okay, being the last speaker, I think all the points that were just dancing in my mind have already been covered. But heartiest congratulations, you all were absolutely outstanding. That's the word for you all. It was absolutely outstanding. We were totally blown away. And yes, the variety of the subjects that you all have touched, and more than that, I would like to bring out one point. Most of you have spoken about a cultural contextualization, a cultural appropriateness, which I think becomes very important, because despite the fact that we come from the same region, the South Asia region, we do have different cultures, we do have different communities, we do have different attitudinal architectures everywhere. So yes, that is a wonderful way of moving ahead, is, thinking how to make it your country-specific program and approach. So that really helps. Your objectives, they had tremendous clarity, and there was a very pragmatic step-by-step approach to what you're going to achieve, how you're going to achieve, and the way you had really studied and thought about the impact that you're going to make. That again was absolutely and I should really add here that we are not really dealing with students or trainees here. We are dealing with professionals, we are dealing with principals, we are dealing with teachers and researchers who've spent a lot of time working in the community. And yes, create a ripple effect. One thing more being from the finance and revenue generation. It's the money which makes the mayor go round and round. So don't forget that aspect. Prepare small, prepare purposeful, have your rationales ready when you're talking about presentations to your corporate partners, to your funders, so that they are totally convinced and they are happily telling you, this is what I give you to take this forward. So that is what you need. That's a fuel that you need. So do concentrate that side also. We've spoken about once in class too. We had some exercises too. So do focus on that, because that skill is extremely important. And you can have brilliant minds, you can have brilliant workforces, but if you don't have the fuel to start the engine, that's where you just stop and, really not have anything of consequence. So thank you so much. You all were absolutely wonderful. Thank you, thank you. And yes, hopeful manifestation. Hopeful manifestation for all your programs to be a huge success across each country. Stay in touch with us so that we can all work together and create larger conversations, larger communities for greater impact. And all the best. And once again, hopeful manifestation for all your plans and dreams, including marriage.
Thank you, Bhavna. Thank you, Dr. Sen. Thank you, Devangna. May I invite Dr. Mithu Alur for the final words.
Definitely you were the best. But I just want to say that there was a lot of support. I first of all like to really thank TWC. And Rajni has been a very exceptional. Rajni, can you hear me? And Rachel, Lady Batabat. We've worked for 24 years with the group, and they're very, very proud of you. So I think the first clap is for TWC. I also want to say that you have been very well supported, girls, that we've had a very unusual team of people here. Besides the judges who've always been there behind you all, but you've probably not seen them, but they know everything about what you're doing. We have a very, very good internal and external faculty, and they all get terribly involved with you. And so, thank you all. And I think that this ripple effect will definitely be the ocean of success. But there was some important points, and that is keep in touch. And I think you'll be happy to know that we are starting from this year a federation that's going to be for all the world around, not just but it's going to be started by ADAPT. It's the federation for all NGOs and also people, practitioners. And as it was mentioned by our judges, that you're not just students, you're like us, you're policymakers, you're master trainers in the community, you're going to be leaders. So all of you are invited, because together on this day and year with you, we're starting the federation. So please be with us. That'll make it 100 people already. And certainly we will all keep in touch. If I say a little bit more, it might be too emotional. So I'll see you all tomorrow. And thank you all very much for being with us in this journey.
Thank you, Dr. Loor. Anyone would think this is the first batch of students Dr. Loor has seen. It's only the 24th. And it's only 54 years since she's been doing this day after day. Thank you. And I cannot end my vote of thanks without saying she's the wind beneath our wings. And Dr. Loor, drives everything that we do and keeps our motivation right up here to keep striving for excellence and look for more things to do to reach out to more people. Thank you, Babaji, for being here, and I'm so glad you are well enough to be with us this afternoon. It wouldn't have been the same were it not for you to have put this whole practice schedule in place. Let me thank Dr. Rajni Rijal, all our visitors, all our friends who've joined us on Zoom. It's such a special afternoon to have you with us. Our judges, Dr. Sen, Bhavna Mukherjee, Devangna Bhatt, thank you so much. Dr. Rijal, thank you for joining us. We are missing Rachel, who says she couldn't join in this afternoon due to some family commitment. But I'm sure we're feeling her lectures with us today in spirit. And today was just day one. We hope to see all of you here tomorrow with us as we celebrate this great learning program that these young ladies have had on their valedictory function. Tomorrow, 3 o'clock, same place. And we hope to have you all again with us. Thank you so much. We have a little something for our guests. Dr. Rijal, your packet is there and Dr. Loor is getting it for you to London.
You don't have to, but thank you. We have to thank a phenomenal master of ceremonies as well. So thank you so much, Prabha.
Oh, thank you.
You've done today as
Thank
well,
you.
for keeping everything together. And to all the wonderful ancillary staff. I know Lucas and everyone is working hard.
So, Dr. Rajni Rijal, here is your gift also.
Thank you. Thank you
So,
very
all
much.
judges, thank you. Thank you very much, everybody, for being here. And all the best, all the participants. It was really lovely. Thank you very much, Babaji, especially, for practice, rehearsal, make everybody confident. And thank you very much. Thank you very much, Dr. Loor, for your guidance, for action plan. Each and every one you met personally and you gave guidance, and it was really very enriched for us also to learning. Thank you very much.
I must say one last thing, and that is suddenly from tomorrow, Sujata is going to have a whole lot of time on her hands with nothing to do. Because last 4 months, she's only been running behind all of you. Thank you, Sujata, for everything that you do for us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Last but not least, thank you, Prabha, for today's enriching and helping for everything.